it up. Why do birds sing so gay? Let me tell you something. Why do fools fall in love? The first time I was introduced to that song was by Diana Ross when I was young. My mom would play it all the time. I had no idea when I was young who the heck Frankie Lyman was.
Right.
Unfortunately, I didn't find out who he was until the movie came out in 1998 with Vivica Fox, Larenz Tate, Leela Rashawn, and Halle Berry. That was the life of Frankie Lyman, who passed away at 26 years old. He was an addict, but before that, he was a child phenomenon, even before Michael Jackson. Today, on More Than Just a Movie, we are talking about why do fools fall in love? Frankie Lyman. All right, we're talking about Frankie Lyman. Let me make sure I add you, Leroy, on Facebook and everywhere else. But we are talking about Frankie Lyman. All right, so this movie came out in 1998. It's a romantic drama, and it starred again Little Richard, Larenz Tate, Vivica Fox, Halle Berry, and Leela Rashawn. It made $12,461,000, and I'll let Leroy tell you what the budget was. It made almost $13 million at the box office. This was written by Tina Andrews. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Became a classic Black film. Every actor in that movie acted their butt off. But did y'all know that Zola, who was played by Halle Berry, she married Frankie Lyman when he was 14 years old and she was 18. We talked a little bit about this when we did, what movie did we do last? Inkwell. We talked about how these older women are with some of these younger men. All right. Frankie Lyman, why do fools fall in love, Leroy?
No, that's interesting because I definitely didn't know.
Sorry, this is Dr. Leroy. I never introduced you, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the hostess with the most.
No, but I don't think that. I didn't realize that he was only 14 when he married how old? Because she was the second wife.
Zola was the first one. That was supposed to be Halle Berry.
Okay, so she was the first.
But check this out, though. She played it like she was his mother figure. That's what she was telling everybody in real life. I did my research, honey. In real life, she was telling everybody that was like her son. And he was saying it's like a parent thing. So when he met Vivica Fox's character, what was her name?
She was actually Elizabeth.
Yes, Elizabeth. I knew it was Elizabeth. He told her that she was like a mother figure. And then when he married Leela Rashawn's character, what's the name?
That's a pretty name, Amira. I like that name. I like that name.
He said he met her after the military, as we see on the movie. Right. And she had no idea that he was Frankie Lyman, had no idea that he had a past drug addiction, had no idea that he had 2 wives before her, as we see play out in that crazy, perfect court scene. Those women acted their butts off.
But that was, when was that? Was that the 1950s?
60s. So
when was it the 60s? Okay.
I think that was
because I was thinking about, because I'm trying to think of how a 18-year-old could marry a 14-year-old without the parents' consent, even back then.
But if you don't have a parent, or if somebody lies, or you're pretending to be, I don't know, because it was happening. We already know it was happening.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately, it was happening.
Yeah, because you got to think, um, because I always think about Aretha Franklin, and she didn't get married, but she got pregnant.
And it's
At
reported,
what? She,
it's reported that it was by her dad.
yep,
Now,
yep,
we
and
talked about this movies before. Remember the one was Cynthia
yep,
Erivo or whatever told it, but then the one that Aretha
didn't.
didn't.
Yep, yep.
But tell me why Aretha had so much agony and heartache with the one that she did with Marlon Wayans was in it. And she was drinking. Think so. Most people, when they have that much turmoil, it's from past trauma. And then
Mm-hmm.
she had what, like 3 kids before, 3 or 4 before she was even 20, 3 years old, 3 or something like
Was
that.
it?
Don't quote me on
Mm-hmm.
that. She was young.
Right, right. So, this is, I guess that was nothing new. It's usually the reverse though. It's usually the older man versus the younger girl.
Yeah.
In that case, but yeah, Frankie Lyman was that I was just like, wow, watching this movie, just the craziness of his story. Like you said, he was Michael Jackson before Michael Jackson. He was
Yeah.
the star child before we
Yeah.
knew of star kids,
'Cause-
and it just shows to show you too what kind of what has happened to a lot
yeah.
of we talk about this all the time, how Hollywood and how the entertainment industry, it'll chew you up and spit you out, especially when it comes to young kids, young kids, if they're not protected, you know.
Yeah.
So much in that. So
It is. It's a lot in that. And I'm looking at when
yeah.
I'm looking at Frankie Lyman's bio, Franklin Joseph Lyman was a rock, of course, and roll, rhythm and blues singer and songwriter. Best known for his soprano, as we know. But, well, let me just say this first. He was part of Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. The group was composed of 5 boys, all in their mid-teens. The original lineup, they talk about the different people, but I want to say that the Teenagers' first single was Why Do Fools Fall in Love, named for this movie as well. That was 1956.
See, yeah,
1956. And then when he started marrying those girls or with them, let me see, both of his careers, that I'm just looking at this. And some reports say he died at 25, and some reports say he died at 26. I've seen both. Either way, he was 25 or 26 years old. Like, think about, even back then, people seemed like they lived so much and had so much life at such young ages. Is it true that the entertainment industry really grows you up like that and exposes you to things that you shouldn't be exposed to as children?
well, I think it does. I think it does. I think it puts a lot of children into this adult industry. Um, and you got to think, shoot, back then in the 50s and 60s, there was, especially when you talk about the black folks that were in that industry, you had no control over it, and they were doing any and everything that they wanted back then. The parents were just just like modern day, and even we know the stories. We've talked about the stories, how people get caught up in the money. Here's this young man that has a talent, gift for singing. Was very attractive. From that standpoint, he
Mm-hmm.
checked the box. He checked the boxes, and he could be. When you think about that, 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
people are saying, we're gonna give you X amount of dollars, to sing, and all you gotta do is sign on this dotted line. We're gonna give you all
Yeah.
of this money up front,
Yeah.
you know, and everything like that, and that's I think that's what catches a lot of those that are in the entertainment and music industry.
Yeah.
They have these record companies, and you know me, with all of the stuff that's going on with Kanye,
Mm.
with what he has talked about, that and those that are in control, that's part of how they are in control, because they know that money is a motivator.
Yeah.
They know that putting those things, they know that it'll motivate not just that particular individual, but the family members.
But if he
Especially
married,
when they're younger.
yes, and then I'm thinking about everything that you're saying, and I'm thinking about the industry and what you're saying, and I just keep in my head, I'm like thinking about the other guy that we don't talk about, that we talked about before.
Yeah.
But then at 14, so clearly his parents weren't there. And oftentimes we talk about the men preying on little girls when their parents aren't there. But Zola was from the Platters, the group the Platters,
Mm-hmm.
and 18 is an adult officially, but that's still young. So look how they
Yeah.
look. Look how the Platters looked and how groomed they were. And she even saying, I'm going to be Frankie Lyman's mother figure at
Mm-hmm.
18. So much life is lived. I'm going to be his mother figure because he's 14. So what that shows me is that his mother was nowhere around.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
saw that, like,
Obviously.
where was the mother? You know what I mean? So she saw
Yeah.
that and she said, you know what? He a cute little boy. It's sick when you think about it. It really is. Or is it like people say in the music industry, like there's no age? This kind of thing happens all the time. So he was marrying, he was a polygamist, and he was only 20, he was only 14 once. I think like another teen, like he was in his teens with
Yep.
a
I mean,
hard life.
yeah.
It's deep
It
when you
just
think about it.
no.
And
It just
people
goes.
don't even realize, like I said, when I was young, I was saying Diana Ross's Why Do Fools Fall in Love all the time. Had no idea it was a remake as a child. But then when you go back into Frankie Lyman, like he was popping back in the day, but he was still
Oh
a
yeah.
kid. He had Billboard's top 100s several times with the ABCs that let me see. He had I want you to be my girl. He had a song called I Promise to Remember. Who Can Explain? ABCs of Love. I'm Not a Juvenile Delinquent. I Want You. He had so many pop and R&B charted songs with the teenagers. Then when he went with his solo career, he did as well. And as we see in the movie, that his drug addiction halted his career. Now think about Eddie Kendricks. Think about all the other people we talked about on Temptations. David Ruffin. Well, not Eddie Kendricks. David was Paul from Temptations with his alcoholism. And you think about the drug addiction where I think it was Eddie Kendricks that was found in Philadelphia in the crack house. Was it
No,
David?
that was David Ruffin.
I'm sorry,
That was
David.
David Ruffin.
So think about like a lot of people's careers that ended because of drug addiction. Some people would say, God bless her soul, Whitney Houston. Even though it was shaky and shady about what happened to her. So she didn't, we hear the stories, but we don't know. So not even if it's the death of the person, but what causes people to numb sort of the pain. And as a healing coach, it's just always a root to this. But think about it. He was a motherless child and he had an older woman that pushed up on him.
I mean, but when you think about it, I mean, you think about these stories that we've talked about, that we've covered in the in the movie industry and the music industry, they all have the same kind of theme to them.
Yeah.
You know, think, they have these same kind of theme where you have a singer that has this talent or a group that has this talent. They get discovered. Upon that discovery, part of that discovery, they begin to get access to a world that they wouldn't have had access to if they didn't have that particular gift. They find themselves with access to drugs and to that industry,
Mm-hmm.
and they try to put up the put on the mask because they have this
Mm-hmm.
image that they try to live up to,
Mm-hmm.
and then also the expectation,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think Frankie Lyman fell into that where
Mm-hmm.
he's like you just named the hits that he started to
Mm-hmm.
that he had. So
Mm-hmm.
there begins to come this expectation of them to be able to produce.
Yeah.
You know, they get caught up in that. They get caught up in having to. They get in these, and then on top of that,
That's
you throw
me.
in that they get these record deals that they can't get out of. They figure by the time they figure out that they're bad deals, they can't get out of them. They wound up owing the record labels so much money, so that they're dealing with all of these different dynamics, and like we said, sometimes a lot of them have not been able to handle it.
Yeah.
They couldn't handle the pressure. Just look at think of the stories that we've talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about from, yeah, Frankie Lyman might be the oldest one that we've talked about, but do the role. You said the Temptations, New Edition with Whitney Houston. There've been a number of, and even not even just a drug or alcohol addiction, but you talk about depression. I always think about Phyllis Hyman.
Oh,
She, Donny Hathaway.
Donny Hathaway, man, oh man, because
So,
it's trying to keep up with that high, like Ricky Bell was saying in the New Edition story. Like you're trying to keep
yeah,
up with that high because the
yeah,
high you're using things to make you high, but the high is really fame. The high is really being able to reproduce what you did to be this big celebrity. So
yeah,
even though you're using substances to have your body high and altered, it really is the other high that you're chasing for, or you're using it to suppress what the traumas that really need to be healed,
right.
that the music industry or this industry was suppressing, because now you're this
Yep,
different person. But if it's not working how you think, or everybody ain't gonna stay up here forever
correct.
when it comes to stars. So then they keep chasing, like you hear addicts say, they always try to chase that first high. And
Yep,
that's really, so it's artists, they're always trying to chase that first big fame where people were, because it comes to a point where people ain't screaming your name no more. They just not.
yep.
And that's what they try, so they can't live with that. That's deep. I agree. It's deep.
Yeah,
It's deep.
it's some really sad stories that we've talked about when it comes to this industry, and Frankie Lyman was one of those tragic. 26 years old.
That's insane. And but think
26
about
years
how
old.
much life he lived. Even that's what I'm saying. So he's married to 3 women. So in real life, no diss to the beautiful women, but they wasn't Halle Berry, Lela Rochon, and Vivica Fox in real life. So
Oh, have you seen them?
yes. So the
Really?
actresses really did them justice. So the real one, the one that was the school teacher who was Lela Rochon, she wasn't no Lela Rochon. Zola was beautiful though, she was, but she wasn't Halle Berry. And
Yeah.
then Vivica, she turned all the way down. She took all the Vivica A. Foxes. She was Angie from the Midwest, because they call Vivica Fox, and the A is for Anjanetta, and her family calls her Angie. They took all the Vivica and her role, Vivica's role. Can we just talk about that for a moment? Vivica was outstanding in this movie. She really was. She really was. She really was.
Yeah.
She had that. She was like, she had that tooth. Remember how she was supposed to be the hood chick of them all. So you have
Right.
Zola, the polished singer from the Platters, the front girl, and the guys in the back, polished gowns, all of that. So then you have the hood chick, which was what was her name?
Vivica's was Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, right? So then you have Emira, who is the school teacher, who is the Christian, who is the, cooking every Sunday, going to church, Bible toting, praying over you, straight lace, no sinning woman. With a man who all he does is sin. So he was that's when he went into the military. So when he came out, he met her. And that was with, the military with no drugs and all of that. But then at the same time, even when he left her, he went back to what he knew. And that was drugs and music. And that killed him. But let's talk about we're not gonna talk about the scene with Vivica yet, where he hangs her dog out the window. Let's talk about when Zola, his first wife, the one that was 18 and he was 14. They don't even really talk about that part in the movie, but let's talk about when she went on tour and she trusted him.
Right.
To take care of the mortgage, left the money, did everything, her beautiful house, only to come back from tour and her house was foreclosed.
Yep.
And it was like you trusted a junkie, pretty much.
I'm sorry.
Woo!
I'm sorry. You know me. For all those males that want to say that men are leaders, everybody ain't meant to handle your finances.
You better
ladies.
Come on, Leroy. Leroy, tell the truth.
So watch who you want to call a leader. Watch who you want to handle your money, or the money. I should say not your money, the money for the family. Because if somebody is not good with finances, then they should not be handling the finances of the family. Because they'll do exactly what Frankie Lyman did in this movie, where he was charged to take care of the mortgage, the bills, and everything like that, and he wound up, blowing it. So don't, and trust and believe that happens to this day.
Mm-hmm.
That happens to this day. So you want to make sure that your mate is someone y'all have those conversations.
Yeah. So that's
Emira.
That's Emira, who Lela Rochon played. That's the real one.
Is it? Okay.
On the side. So then you have, this is the one that Elizabeth. Okay, so here are all of them. So this is the one. Wait a minute. So this is Elizabeth, Zola, and Emira. So here go Vivica, Hallie, and Lela. So
wait a minute.
It's no diss to these women. It's no diss. That's not what I'm doing.
She is not Lela Rochon. She is Sunshine. Okay, I'm gonna need you to put some respect on that name.
Right. So these are the ladies that. So Hallie's in the middle. With the hat is Lela. She cute. And Vivica is the one, like she looking at the ocean.
Right.
So those are I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Vivica is the one with the hat. She cute. Zola is
Okay.
in the middle, and then the other one is the teacher.
Yeah. She looked like an Elizabeth.
There you go.
She
There
looked like
you
an
go.
Elizabeth.
There
That's
you
my
go.
that's my aunt's name. Call her Aunt Lizzie.
So these were all Aunt Lizzie. Aunt Lizzie. So looking at, first of all, let's shout out to the Black women. They were amazing. Halle Berry, Vivica
Yeah,
Fox, Leela
yeah,
Rashawn. They were
yeah.
amazing. Halle
They
was
really
amazing
were.
on her own right. Leela Rashawn played that role. She was like, like these other ones, whoo, I'm glad I'm holy and sanctified because these other ones. And Vivica was off the chain with her little
Yeah.
outfit. She was off the chain. So clearly Frankie Lyman didn't have a type. His type was, who can I use to get to the next level? That's his type. Because they were all different.
You just made me think of something, and it you made me think of this movie, how Frankie Lyman used each of these women to kind of live off of.
A
Even
lot
though
of
he
men
had
do.
the short term, yeah, the short term fame of the music that he was doing and everything like that. But when you look at the totality of what he was doing, how he was, he went had these three women, and they, each of them, I believe, satisfied a certain aspect of what he was looking, what he needed or what he wanted.
Yeah.
Um, in those
And
terms
the
and stuff
same
like that,
with
which
women be
is
using
nothing.
men.
That,
The
right?
same thing.
It's nothing.
One
This
women
is
use a
nothing
man
new.
for sex. One use it to
Yep.
get the nights paid. The other one, it's people do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about that as you were talking. I'm just like, man, I'm like that. Here we go again. This stuff parallels to even to this day and time when we
That's why
talk
it's
about
more
all
than
these.
just a movie.
How we talk about these things, and it's just like I mean, this, even though this is based off of a true story, this is an actual person's real life. It just goes to show you how, just how real life is, and how it can relate
Yeah.
to us, from a teenager to to adulthood and everything like that. And that and I know we don't want to necessarily harp on it, but that dynamic you were talking about, the 18-year-old or 14-year-old, there's a, and we talk about it, but let's be real, there is, it's looked at differently when you have an older woman with a young man. You know, here Holly Berry is an 18-year-old girl, and Frankie Lyman a 14-year-old young boy. He's just coming into teenage
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So, and here this older girl is, and let me tell you, being a teenage boy and having an older girl like you, let me tell you, yeah,
But it's still
you
statutory
like,
rape.
yeah.
Like people don't look at it as
Oh,
that. A lot of, like
absolutely.
we talked
Oh,
last week,
right,
a lot of boys
right.
lost their virginity to older women, and it was pretty much
Yep.
statutory rape. Nobody even knew. Like I said, even Charlemagne was like, I didn't even realize till a couple years ago that I was molested
That it was.
because the
Hmm.
girl, that it wasn't okay. But that was
Yeah.
like a thing. Just like you see the grown man picking up the girl from high school in the
Yep.
car and she running to go jump in the car. Like it happened, but it ain't right. And
Right.
even
That
when
right.
Zola married him, the thing is, the only marriage that showed legal was to Amira, the school teacher in the
Right.
churchgoer,
Right.
because 14, obviously that didn't work. So then even when he went to go marry Elizabeth, they were thinking he was married before. And then because they all had, like, I looked it up, they all had like marriage certificates. But I
Yeah.
guess because of the age or because of whatever,
Yeah. it makes it null and void. Even though, I
Right,
mean, because we've seen that happen. We know who
right,
did that. Who did that
right.
as well? They lied on the birth the I guess
And for
the application or
18.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Lyman
she
was
wasn't.
14 years old when he began to date Zola Taylor, lead singer of the chart-topping group The Platters in the mid-50s. And he was still a kid when he started on the next wife, Elizabeth Waters.
Yep,
That's
it's
deep.
it's real.
So in the movie, they're trying to figure out who's going to get to have Frankie Lyman's money. So that's the whole thing in court. And honey,
That's what it's all
they
about.
show how, like, you know what? He did, because Zola never seen him again live after he did all of that until he died. So they were
Right.
still trying to come after him and death. So they like, oh no, you were putting me through all of this. Oh, and death, we're gonna get something. Because clearly you played me, you played her, you know, you lost my house, you lied to her. Oh, we can't see him no more in life, but we're gonna get the money. But then
Yep.
that scene was just amazingly crazy. So think about it. Even in this Frankie Lyman movie, Frankie Lyman wasn't the star. Because
You
after
don't
he
think?
passed it, no, I'm saying meaning that they show, but even remember, there was a whole half part of a movie that Frankie Lyman wasn't in.
Yeah. Because it was about the court case. Yeah.
Right. So then they kept going back to that. But shout out, Laura. We got to talk about Larenz Tate. We started talking about him last week on the Inkwell, and we said we have to spotlight Larenz Tate. So let me give you some background. I was telling Leroy last week, I remember when he was on Sherman Hemsley, Amen. I remember when he was
Wow.
acting when he was little, coming to the door, you know. So let's talk about Larenz Tate. He is 47 years old now. We talked about it last week. I gotta say it. He is 5'7" and he is a leading man. He's from the Chi. He always represents Chicago. We know him from this movie, The Inkwell, Menace to Society, Power, Dead Presidents, Love Jones, which we've done. So definitely check out More Than Just a Movies playlist. You can see us. Love Jones was our very first More Than Just a Movie.
Had to be.
Yep,
It had to be.
season 3. This is season 3 now. That was season 1 because Leroy and I would always talk about Love Jones. And some of my favorite quotes when I go speak, when I'm on shows, comes from Love Jones. So it only made sense for that to be the first one. I want mine now. Larenz said, I don't want to wait. I want mine now.
That's
We already
right. Ain't no need in waiting. Why wait?
we already Leroy, he was like, we already did it. Like, what you mean?
What are you talking?
Right.
Oh, stop playing.
Brother to the night. Talking about brother to the night. Is that all right? Come on.
Yeah.
Trying to be the what?
Yeah.
But so Larenz Tate, you know, right. Trying to be the fucking right.
Yeah. Is that all right?
Is that all right? And remember the lady in the background, like, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. You ever hear the lady in the back?
Yep.
Do you ever hear the lady in the back when he says it? Oh, all right. So Larenz Tate is the youngest brother of 3 siblings, as we talked about last week. LaRon and Lamont both are actors. They moved their family to California when Larenz was only 4 years old. Convinced by their parents to enter a drama program in the Inner City Cultural Center, the trio did not take the lesson seriously until classmate Malcolm Jamal Warner had he ascended his fame and he was cast in the Cosby Show. So that's when them Tate brothers was like, "Ooh, let's continue this."
Yeah, you know.
Like subsequently realizing that they could parlay their efforts into a tangible form of success, the siblings began to receive small roles. And in 1985, I told you, I'm telling you, he's been doing it. Larenz made his debut episode on the new Twilight Zone, and then pretty much we know he hadn't started. He was in 21 Jump Street back in the day. He was in
Oh
The
wow.
Wonder Years. He was on, we talked about this, The Women of Brewster Place. He was on Family Matters. He was on The Royal Family. Remember, they did that right before Red Fox passed away. Red Fox and Della Reese's show. He was supposed to be the grandson. I remember that. And it ended prematurely because Red Fox died. But they had that show. I remember that. He was, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So, of course, he played in the Frankie Lyman biopic, I should say, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Tate as Lyman. So we want to give Larenz Tate his flowers. All the ladies love Larenz Tate. He's like Dick Clark. He don't age. You know, like they say, he looks great. He's been.
And he was in.
Go ahead.
No, he was in the movie Girl Trip too.
Yep, we talked about that last week. And you know why his role was so smooth in Girls Trip? I hope he's in Girls Trip too. They're supposed to be doing that.
Oh,
his
really?
role was so chilled, so smooth. It didn't even seem like he was acting. It seemed like he was laughing at them. It didn't even seem like he was acting.
Yeah, because he fit in that movie. He was the homeboy that was friends to all of the to the sisters that's out there.
Yeah,
and he the one that they call when they get in trouble. So all they do is laugh at him. All they do is laugh at him. Like what y'all done did? What y'all done did this time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know he was also the hated, abusive boyfriend of Ashanti in her video Rain on Me.
Yes.
So all the women don't like that. He was even a video star.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he doesn't he's one of those actors that doesn't get enough credit because that's an extensive catalog.
Yes. And he's still not finished.
Yeah, because him and his brothers have a production company because they produced several movies now because he's more on the production side. I forgot he was in Man Apart. He was in what was that? In Too Deep with Tyrese.
Yes.
So he has this catalog that is just like some really good good roles. To me, my favorite will always be Love Jones. Always, Darius,
Darius Love Hall. Come on.
So but he has. I didn't realize that he had started so young though.
Yeah.
In the industry. So
because it's a lot they didn't even put because I remember seeing him and stuff a long time ago. And doesn't he seem like he can work when he wants to work? Like he's not pressed. Don't it seem like he's just like
right? He takes the roles that he wants, not the roles that he has to take.
Yeah.
But that's probably because he's probably a good steward of his money. He's always been a good steward of his money.
Yeah.
Where he was like, that just that shows good upbringing.
And he got a good wife of 20 years. She probably making sure.
Right.
Like, no, we ain't doing that. We got these kids.
We will not go broke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so so when you have that, I forgot about Biker Boys. Yeah, Biker Boys. So, but when you have that mentality, like he seems to have, and what he's done throughout his career. I mean, because that's a long career.
Yeah.
At least 30 years, 30, 35 years, like that. That's a long time for Hollywood. And like you said, he could still go out today and do a do a really good hit movie. He'll be he's still and he looks young.
Yeah, he does.
He still looks looks very young.
Amazing. And all the ladies, my daughters love them some Larenz Tate. Larenz Tate got he got the 20-somethings to the 70-somethings. I don't know a woman who does not like Larenz Tate. He's like the Nia Long, no pun intended, because of Love Jones, for women, for men, because you love some Nia Long, and he's that for women. Like people love Larenz Tate, and he seemed like he got a real chill personality that people rock with. You know what I mean? He seems like if he comes to that, Or if somebody knows they're doing it, they'd be like, just get Larenz to do it because he's capable, he's unproblematic, and he's gonna get the job done. That's the type of personality he seems like, doesn't he?
And he seems like the kind of dude where all of the fellas be like, that's a good dude right there. You know what I'm saying?
Because Bill Bellamy, even though they played, frenemies on Love Jones, they were just together. They were real tight. And the caption was like something like, when you're brothers for life or when you're real friends or something. So he seems like that type, like in the crew of the guys. Like he'd be on the low chill, like, man, you married. Why are you over there doing that? He seemed like
Yep. Exactly. And even when you think about it, except for maybe his role in
Menace to
Society, and Dead President, and the other one where you said he played. That was a video. That was a video, more so than a movie. But you think about all of the other roles that he's played; they've all been relatively positive roles that he's had.
And then he was a snake on Power. He was like Snake.
The politician. The politician.
But he can play all of them believable. Because in Ozone, whatever his name, not Ozone, we're supposed to be doing that. Break it. I said Ozone. Old Dog. That was supposed to be Tupac's role, but he passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, that was supposed to, and then all right, is that when he got into the fight with the Hutton brothers?
I think it was when he got into the fight, and I think he got into that fight and was going through all of the other stuff that they casted. They casted for some other way. I mean, and it's it's sad with that because there were other roles that Pac was set up for.
Oh, a lot.
When what happened with them. All that stuff, that got thrown out the window.
But check it out. At 25, too. We're talking about Frankie Lyman, 25. Tupac, 25.
Yeah. Biggie was 25 as well, wasn't he?
Biggie was right because they're both Geminis like me. And Biggie's Tupac's birthday the day before mine. And I just thought it was ironic, like those two, like really loved each other, but they were still around because Biggie was a year younger than us. So Biggie was like, because it happened the next year, so he was 25. That's deep.
Yeah. I mean, and it just goes to show you that here we go again with the industry.
That's deep.
The industry, it has taken a lot of lives, both physically and mentally. Yeah. Because you got some folks that are just not the same after they've been in that industry. I mean, think about it. Think about some of especially the childhood that have come through. Because I posted, and I don't know if you saw. No, you did see it. I posted the picture of the Evans family, the Evans siblings.
And Michael looked aged more than.
Well, because he had the beard. I bet you if he shaved the beard off. And everything, he would look much younger.
Yeah, but Bernadette Stannis, she's still fine.
Hey,
she's gonna be fine. Thelma gonna be fine the day she leaves this earth. She's still fine, and her daughters are beautiful, just like her. She often shows them on Instagram. Thelma's still fine.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was great to see that picture, and I posted it because they were all childhood stars.
Yeah.
And we know how a lot of that has ended, how that's ended for a lot of them. So to see them still in their older age now, and knowing that we grew up with them and seeing them still, still here, still doing well and everything like that. That is great because there's a lot of them that have come through the industry and aren't.
Who's a good example? Kim Fields.
Yes,
she
absolutely.
Still looks amazing. She's still doing her thing. Her skin is like butter. She's still looking good. Ty Bridges, after all the crap he's been through, he's still here. He's still here. When you think about all the ones we grew up with, and unfortunately, it wasn't a lot of Black shows like Different Strokes. Facts of Life. We had Good Times. We had the Jeffersons, we had, and then as it started getting, But think about the all black shows. Then it jumped to Cosby Show, and Keisha Knight Pulliam is still amazingly
Yeah,
doing her
yeah,
thing. Like she's a
yeah,
beast. She was just on an uncensored on TV One, still doing her thing.
yeah,
Malcolm Jamal Warner. Then you have Different World. We jumped that way because you just look at them, and like you said, to have them still here because so many, it gets the best of them.
yeah. And
There
even
are a lot of them commit suicide. Think about it. Like Brittany Murphy, the young white girl who was in just so many different drug addictions. She died young, just so many in that industry.
yeah, I mean, and Family Matters with
Oh, yeah.
what's his name, with
Yeah. Stephon Urkel.
yeah, Darius McCrary,
Oh, yeah. He's still doing
Jaleel
his
White,
thing. Yep.
and the young lady, what's her name? What's her first name? I can't think of the one that
Kelly
plays
Cheyenne
Laura.
Williams. Kelly.
Yeah, yeah, and even the young lady that passed away from the show that played Myra.
Who played on Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal
Yep.
Warner's real life girlfriend,
Yeah,
Michelle.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just there were so many young young folks from the 70s, the 80s,
Yeah.
and the 90s, 70s,
Yeah.
80s, and 90s that we grew up with because they were
Yeah.
all around the same age. They're all
Yeah.
around the same age as us, or a little,
Yeah.
maybe a little younger.
Yeah.
And a couple older too, but
Yeah.
for the most part, around within our age
Yeah.
range and everything like that. So
Yeah.
to see those that are still around, that are still, they're reaping the benefits of being who they were, but still even growing even more. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if people listen to it or not, but Malcolm Jamal Warner's jazz band is bad.
Oh,
It,
yeah. Because he does
Miles Long.
poetry and all of that, doesn't he? He's had that band for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. That, let me tell you, I love the music. And I wish he would. I don't know how much he puts into it now, but I'm like, dude, you got something there because that Miles Long, I love listening
I
to.
forgot all about that. Yeah, because he does
Yeah,
poetry, he writes, he
yeah,
does all of that.
yeah. Did you see the that little reel that he did on I think it was TikTok and on Instagram
I
about
see.
they did the what was it, DMX's song. He has a song with the girls and he lists the
Yeah.
names of them.
Yeah.
Well, Malcolm Jamal Warner did a thing, same kind of thing, but he was naming all of the civil rights
Oh, I
actions.
did see that. I
Yeah,
did see that.
yeah. I
I
thought
did
that was
because
nice.
he's very woke. He been woke.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to hear Keisha Knight Pulliam on her Uncensored saying that who knew that now Malcolm's child and her child play together all the time.
Oh, that's
And they're
awesome.
both in Atlanta and they're both still tight. Because she was so much younger, but Malcolm had a child later. He had it like in
Okay.
his late 40s.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah. So as we end, I just want to end with some trivia. Mickey Waters, Vivica A. Fox's pet, Brussels. We got to talk about that. The dog also appeared in. So the dog had another role.
Not the dog got a paycheck too.
The dog had another role in As Good as It Gets in 1997. That's how he probably auditioned for this one. Tony, now check this out. Tony Braxton, you know how I got to always do this, was set for a role in the film, but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts.
What?
Yep. I don't know which role, but they said that she was set for a role. Probably I can see, I don't know how well, but I can see her maybe doing the same role as Hallie. She might have had that one.
Yeah, I mean,
the singer
I'm
part.
trying to think, what kind of conflict did she have? But 98,
It might have been lupus. Was it lupus then?
Well, you got to think Tony. No, she was probably hot. I mean, Tony was back in that late 90s. She was rocking the charts.
She was on fire.
Yeah, so she was probably touring and all of that, all of those good things. So
I had that debut album like 2-3 times. I had
absolutely
2-3 copies of that. I would listen to that every day, all day. That first song, man.
Classic.
All right, so Halle Berry and Lela Rochon previously worked together in Boomerang in 1992. though they did not share any screen time. So Halle Berry and Leela didn't share the screen time because remember, that was Eddie's girlfriend in the bed with the toes. Vivica Fox, Craig Kirkwood, Miguel Nunez, Leela Rashawn, Larenz Tate, Ben Vereen had all appeared in various episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 1990.
You know what? We've got to do this, and he's one of the unsung actors that nobody talks about. But
Ben Vereen?
but he's been in everything. Clifton Powell. We've got to find
everything
maybe
black.
we do something.
Everything black. He's in it. Any movie, any show. All right, we could do that. Zola Taylor was still alive during production of this film. However, Halle Berry chose not to meet her for her portrayal, as she saw it could stay intact. So she didn't even meet with her.
Wow.
She probably had her own vision and didn't want that to kind of mess it up, I guess, how she was playing it. So Halle Berry and Vivica Fox had not previously worked together on the project before the film. However, Fox played the role of Emily Franklin on Who's the Boss? Living Dolls in 1989, which was a backdoor pilot for the series Living Dolls in 1989 when the show was picked up. Berry was replaced by Fox. I never knew that Fox. I remember that show. It was like a house full of models. Halle Berry was the only black one, but Vivica Fox was supposed to be that one, but also that was Berry's first on-screen ever, her credit. And of course, we know Miguel Nunez Jr. and Vivica Fox would go on to star in 2002's Joanna Man.
That was a good movie. That was actually a good movie.
Stuttering and Genuine was in it. That was a good one.
Joanna Man. Tommy Davidson was a straight fool in that movie.
And Kim Wayans, man, that was a movie right there. I'm telling you, Miguel Nunez is a fool. We talked about Miguel Nunez last week, didn't we?
Yeah, he really is, man.
All right, so let's end the show with, it's so many. Y'all, if you haven't seen, I should have said this in the beginning as I always do, if you haven't seen Why Do Fools Fall in Love, shame on your mama, auntie, and them. You need to see it. If you haven't seen it in a while, make sure you catch it. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. On YouTube, they're charging. If you got the DVD, they're charging. So if you got the DVD and the DVD player, pop it in. If not, hold tight. It should be on a streaming platform at some point. Check HBO. Check somewhere. It's maybe somewhere. Check it if you haven't seen it. All right, let's end talking about the scene. Let's talk about when Frankie Lyman was all messed up and he done threw the dog out the window. Go ahead, Leroy. You talk about it.
Nah, you go ahead. I'm gonna let this yours. You don't pick this.
Man, when he threw that dog out the window, Vivica was doing her good acting. Frankie Lyman, see, he did so well. Larenz Tate was even doing that good acting. And I was like, he ain't, everybody's anticipation at the movie theater or seeing that movie for the first time. We like, well, he ain't gonna throw. He ain't that high.
Hold on, wait a minute. Did they have a stunt double for the dog?
I guess they had to, because he needed to get his more. He needed to finish his resume. He couldn't be dying like that. That was a stunt double. That was probably a stuffed animal. And look how well that dog acted. He needs an award. That dog he already got. He needs an award. All right, so when everybody's anticipation in that movie, that's one of those scenes that stick out. Like we talk about Michael Ealy that we don't see again, and certain things when they're doing, except of course his was a baby, which was, I can't watch that movie again. I just can't for color. But even if you weren't a dog person, aren't a dog person, don't like animals, whatever your stance is, that scene hit everybody because everybody was like, he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna do it. No, he ain't gonna do it. He can't. She love that dog. He ain't gonna do it. No. When he did it and then said it was an accident, Vivica Fox did the snot cry. She was devastated. And he said it was by accident. Didn't he say something like it's by accident? He didn't mean to do it.
Right. Yeah. So
man.
But that's what that's what addiction will do to you, though. Too.
Yeah.
You'll have stuff. You'll find yourself doing things that you never thought you would ever do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially something like that. And that's why people, real quick, because I know we got to go. That was, to me, I think that was one of the reasons why people were so upset when Michael Jackson held his baby outside that window.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
just you can't you don't play like that. You know what I mean? You don't play like that. I mean,
No, you just don't.
I'm wondering if that really happened in real life or if that was Hollywood. You know,
I don't
if that,
know, but it just, maybe it was just to show you what addiction really does.
yeah.
That you're not even thinking. Y'all, this is more than just a movie. Anything you want to say about the movie before we end? Anything you want to say? We talking about why do fools fall in love, and we were spotlighting Larenz Tate today. Who don't love Larenz Tate? I got two girls over here to say you a lie, because I love Larenz Tate. Everybody loves Larenz Tate, and he did a phenomenal job. Vivica Fox did a phenomenal job. Vivica A. Fox, Lela Rochon, Halle Berry. The way that they work together, I would love to see those three work together again.
Yeah,
Even with
that's a good idea. Send your girl Vivica a message telling her, yeah, you need to do a movie with Little Sean and Halle Berry again. I think that would be a good movie. I think that'd
that
be
would be good. They should
get
do
the
their
right
mature version of the
get a
girls
good
trip.
story.
Like a girls, like a beaches meets girls trip.
Yeah, I think that would be I think that would be find the right story, a good story that would encompass them. I think that would be good. I think that would be good.
Exactly. All right, tell the people what they should do. Leroy McKenzie Jr., Doctor, put some respect on his name. All right.
Hit that notification bell first of all, so you can know when Miss Kendell is on, because y'all know she on every day of the week. You know what I'm saying? James Brown ain't got nothing on her. You feel me with that? Hit that notification bell. We want you to like, subscribe, share, because we want you not only to get your comments about what the movies that we've done, but we also want you to share it with your friends. This is just about having fun. These are movies that we enjoy, that we like, that we know that you've enjoyed, that you've liked, and hopefully we give you a different perspective on it along the way too. So that's why we do what we do, and we're gonna bring it relevant to life, to these days with these movies, because most of them are back in the day, but we want to bring some kind of real life uh adages to them, that as we try and do every week, so that you can make them more relatable to this day and time, because most of them have been relatable to everything that's going on today, so ain't much change.
Right, ain't much change. And I forgot to tell our favorite fan that we came on early, Basie. I love you. I just told her, so she's saying hi. Basie, you gotta go back and watch it, before your Bible study or after. But Leroy, Basie, and I are going to see Stephanie Mills and Will Downing tomorrow night.
Oh man, where are they performing at?
I'll tell you later. We can't be putting all our business on the public.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting there asking where they're gonna be at. Yeah, man. Let me tell you real quick. Will
we've
Downing.
been planning this, I think, 2 months. I think, babe, was it 2 months?
Really?
And
Will Downing.
Yeah.
Will Downing is my all-time favorite male artist. Let me tell you, and I'm talking over Luther, over Marvin.
Sorry,
but I've gone to see him twice,
so
and have not the best concert I've been to, other than the Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Let me tell you, Leroy, I've been to so many concerts I can't even count. I've seen everybody almost. I have never seen Will Downing and
really?
Stephanie Mills, man. That's Basie's favorite singer of all time outside of Bobby Brown. But I have never seen them. I've gone to so many concerts. I'm so excited. I have never seen any of them.
Y'all in for a treat.
Yep.
Because
Yep. She said I'm liking, and she said saving Yep, got our tickets early. It's like 2 months ago. And because I was like, Basine, Stephanie Mills is coming. And I just want to shout out to Basine. I'm going to cry. You know, she treated me to this concert.
Oh wow, that's awesome! Isn't she awesome? She's awesome. She's
So
so awesome.
awesome. Like
Yeah,
so
but
awesome.
y'all in for
You're like,
y'all are in for a treat. You want to talk about, like I said, I mean, both of them got catalogs. I mean, the music in and of itself. All I want you to do is put one finger up in the air when Stephanie Mills sing "I Feel Good All Over."
I love them. I love them both. So I'm going to do a review right here on my reviews and news. So I'll do that, and I usually do them right after concerts. So if you're watching, definitely come back here, and I will do a reviews and news. Normally I do it right after. Maybe I'll do this right after. I'll try to do this right after the show. So I'm excited. You know, definitely gotta let you know. I haven't seen them. So Leroy said we're gonna have a good time. I know Basine has seen Stephanie Mills because she's her favorite.
I'm gonna tell y'all too, both of y'all, you and Basine. I know she listening, she watching. Behave yourself when Will is singing, okay? Behave yourself.
Oh, she said, "You're my girl. Glad to share this time with you at the concert." Oh,
that's awesome.
And she gonna be good with Will when he sings "Sorry I," and that's my song, and that has. And don't he do that over? Didn't he do that over?
Yeah, no. Here you go. I'm gonna give you one to listen out for that you might not peep you to. "A Million Ways."
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, I'm excited, y'all. I can't wait. Come back for the reviews and news. Leroy, of course, I love you. Thank you for being there for me yesterday, cheering me up, sending all my new edition.
Oh yeah,
for real. I appreciate it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching More Than Just a Movie, where we break down classic Black films. Your favorite film is probably on the More Than Just a Movie playlist. Please check it out. It's important that you subscribe, like, and comment. Basine said I'm singing every song Stephanie does. Will is my hubby guy. All right, love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. It's important. Subscribe, share. If you know somebody that likes this movie or movies in general, share our playlist with them. All right, Leroy, love you, man.
All right, love you back. Later.
Bye-bye.